Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. If you've not been here before, I'm Lenny and I have 6 Dachshunds, 5 long hair and 1 smooth. Today I'm going to be talking about the subject that I have been putting off doing a video on for several weeks now, which is crate training. It's quite a controversial topic, so I wanted to make sure that I had really thought through what I was going to say before I say it. I'm going to start this off by saying that I know a lot of people disagree with crate training and I know a lot of people love crate training. So this is for those people that want to know about how to crate train. It's not a conversation about whether you should or shouldn't. And if you want to know my opinion, I think it's good for all dogs, especially Dachshunds, to be used to a crate at least in case they ever need to rest and be confined for that rest. So that's why I'm doing this video today. So firstly, this video is going to be targeted to those who have just brought home a puppy, but it's also going to be relevant to those who have not crate trained, who are wanting to crate train now. But some of the points might make more sense to the puppy owners than the others. If you've just picked up your puppy and this is your first day/night with them, all I'm going to say is don't aim too high for the first couple of days, because they have just been taken away from their litter mates, their mum, the home that they're used to, the smells that they're used to. So there's a lot going on for them, and so you need to make sure that in those initial days you're not aiming too high for the crate training so that you give them the best chance possible. Actually, this is a very weird angle. Wait a minute. That's a bit straighter. Sorry, my camera was on a very odd angle. It still sort of looks like it is, but oh well. So there's lots of different ways to go about crate training, but I'm going to talk about the one that's worked for me. So this is all just based on my opinion and what's worked for me. So obviously do your research and decide what's best for you. And obviously every dog is very different. So what works for me might not work for you. So my first point is going to be that do not bring home a new dog or a puppy, put them in a crate and let them cry it out. In my opinion, this doesn't work. Those first few days, 2 weeks, is about you bonding with that puppy so that they can trust you. So it's really important that you get a really nice balance between bonding with them and that trust, and then also creating a routine and making sure that they know that you are in control of the situation. So this way of crate training is slightly more long-winded, but I just honestly do not believe in letting them cry it out in the middle of the night or whenever you're wanting to put them in the crate. I don't think it works long-term. I've known a few people who have said after 2 days they stopped crying in the crate and now they're fine in the crate, but they have various other anxieties and trust issues. They can't get them to recall and various other issues. So my version of crate training is maybe slightly more long-winded, but it creates that balance between bonding and also having a dog that's happy being in the crate. So you've got 2 choices with my way of crate training. You can either purchase 2 crates and mimic them, one upstairs in your bedroom and one downstairs, or you can have 1 crate and move it between the hours of the day that it's relevant. So during the daytime, the crate should be in the room that you're going to be in the daytime. So if you spend most of your time in the day in the living room, then you're going to want to have the crate set up in the living room and open at all times in the day. Then at various times throughout the day, you're going to want to pop something nice within that crate. That's usually something like a treat. When they're a puppy, you've got to be really careful, obviously, about what you're giving them. But as long as the treat is a natural treat, which I'll give you a couple of recommendations, then they should be fine. And you don't want to set any routine to this, it's just random. So you might not want to put in a whole treat, you might just want to put in a little bit that they can spend 5 minutes in the crate chewing on, and then later in the day do the same again. But the important thing is to keep the door open at all times. So what we're getting from this is a positive association with the crate. So they're learning that when they go in the crate, they get something nice. If you have the crate closed all day and then you go, oh, time to teach them crate training at 9 o'clock at night because you're going to bed, you put them in the crate, you close the door and you go to bed, they've had no positive association with that crate during the day. All they're learning is that when you put them in the crate, you close the door and box them in and leave them. So they're not going to learn that the crate is somewhere enjoyable to be. And that's what you want to create. You want it to be like their little bedroom. So you've been doing that throughout the day, putting treats and various things within the crate. And then when it comes to nighttime, this is usually why people crate train, because they want their dog to sleep in a crate during the night or while they go to work. So at nighttime, for the first however long it takes, you're going to take the crate and put it in your bedroom, and you want to have it next to your bed. In my opinion, this should be the same for if you've rehomed an older dog, that is crate trained, because various people will advertise an older dog as crate trained and then the owners find out they're not, or a puppy. Don't give them the opportunity to get that negative association with the crate. So on the first night, bring it upstairs, put it in the bedroom. If you've not got a carpeted bedroom, then I would leave the door open for the first couple of nights. They can then choose to walk in and out as they please. But if you have got a carpeted bedroom and you're unsure about toileting in the night, then close the door. Things that can reassure them is like putting your hand in the crate for a little bit over the side of the bed, starting off the night in the crate with a small treat. You don't want to give them anything too heavy before bed because you will just keep getting up in the middle of the night for them to go toilet, and just making sure the crate is a comfortable place to be. So during that first night, they might cry a lot. That's fine. You might end up lying on the floor next to the crate. That's fine. You might end up sticking your hand in the crate all night, hanging it over the side and your arm goes dead. That's fine. The important thing is that you're not letting them cry it out. It's not going to work long term, in my opinion. So you just need to keep supporting them for those first few nights. If they do start to cry heavily or get really stressed in the crate, then it might mean that they need the toilet. So say they've been in the crate since 9 p.m, it gets to midnight and they start really crying and you think, well, you've been fine all night. I thought we were doing really well with this crate training. Well, maybe they just need the toilet. Get out of bed, take them down, ask them to go for a wee. If you've seen my toilet training video, this will make more sense as well, so do go and watch that. Take them out for a wee and then bring them straight back into the crate again. So no playing, not too much attention. It's quite literally just out for a wee or a poo, back into the crate and help them to settle again. As I say, this might not be perfect the first couple of nights. You are probably going to have a few sleepless nights no matter what you do. So be ready to do that anyway. And then when you get up in the morning, what you're going to want to do is move that crate back downstairs and start all over again. After you've done that for a few days, you should often find that when they are a bit tired, they take themselves to the crate during the day. And because you've got it wherever you are and the door's open, they can do that. What you can start doing then is pushing the door to, but not locking it. So just don't make a big deal out of it. Don't walk over there and go, good girl, and close the door. Just as you're passing by, if they're asleep in the crate, they've taken themselves there to play with their toy or to sleep or to eat, just close the crate door and keep walking by. And then you'll get the gist of this. So you start progressing that then to actually closing the crate when they're rested in it. But you can play this by ear based on the dog itself. So loads of people will say, well, how long do I have to do this for? You should get an idea of when they are completely stress-free in the crate and they are definitely getting that positive association with being in their safe space. So now, after however long it's taken you to get to this point, you should end up with a dog that is happy to be in a crate with the door closed. And that's at bedtime and during the day, throughout the day. And then you're thinking, well, actually, I never wanted them to sleep in my bedroom. So now I'm going to talk about progressing it down to them sleeping in another area. So what you're going to want to do is move the crate outside of your bedroom door with the door open. So they can still smell you, they can maybe still see you, but you've just moved them a little bit further away from you. Once they're happy with that, that might only take a few nights, that might take a week that they're happy with that. You're then going to progress them with the door closed with them outside the door. And again, progress it over time, move them downstairs to the hallway, and then move them into the room that you want them to be in. So the whole idea with this crate training is taking it slow so that they are happy each step of the way. So they never get to a point where they're stressed and then they associate negative things with the crate, because you're just going to undo everything you've done. As I've said and repeated through this video, every dog is very, very different. So some dogs, 3 nights in, they love the crate, they're always taking themselves there, they're always snoozing in there, happy to have the door closed. Some several weeks, but you've got to make sure you take your time. At this point in the video, I'm going to just add in a few additional notes that didn't really fit into my step-by-step, but I still want to include in this video. So the first one is that if you really want to try and do this the best you can, I would take a couple of weeks off work. That means that you never undo all of this hard work that you're doing and you get that really prime time to bond with your new dog. So if you can take off 1 to 2 weeks off of work, that means you can really stick to this routine. And it's also super helpful for house training as well. So yeah, if you're thinking about getting a new puppy or a new dog, try and consider doing it around a time where you can take off as much time as possible off of work, so that you can work on this step by step. The second point I want to make is talking about what size crate you should get and what you should have in it. So I'm not going to talk about loads of expensive accessories that will fix things overnight, because they just don't always work, so that's a lot of money to spend if they don't. So things that people buy are things like the toys that have a heartbeat, a radio that plays classical music, a crate cover, so something to cover the crate so they feel more secure. You don't need all of these things if you follow the step-by-step that I do, because I never needed them. You can use things like a blanket over the top of the crate, which you probably already have at home. You can probably find a radio at home or put a laptop on with some soft music. So you don't really need to go buying a radio maybe. And in terms of what to put in the crate, in my opinion, don't go putting puppy pads in it because it just teaches them to go to the toilet in their bed area, which you don't want. They shouldn't need any food in there overnight, and actually they shouldn't need any water in there if you're using it for a nighttime routine. Of course, if you're planning on putting them in a crate during the day for a few hours, then you might want to consider a way of having water in there. So that then adjusts how big your crates needed to be, because you need to make sure the water has a safe distance from the bedding. So in our living room, we have a small crate. It fits a dog in comfortably lying down. But in our bedroom, we have a large crate which fits a few dogs in it, and it has a duvet in, and it can have a water bowl in it if we ever need to have them in it when we leave them. I'm obviously going to be showing you clips throughout this video anyway, so you'll see our crate. When you bring your dog home, you're probably going to want to just put their dog bed in the crate. So don't confuse things, don't have a crate and then have a dog bed on the other side of the room, just pop their dog bed in the crate. And if you're worried about them toileting on their dog bed, don't go and buy a really expensive dog bed, just go and buy something like a memory foam cushion or a normal pillow and put a pillowcase over it and pop it in there. You don't need anything fancy. We have vet bed in the crate. It's perfectly comfortable. So you might have vet bed and a blanket in there. That's kind of what we have, and it seems to work. So I guess what I'm saying is the crate just needs to be comfortable enough for them to lie down comfortably in it and turn around if they need to and stand if they need to. But it doesn't need to be massive so that you can cater puppy pads, food, drink, bed, because they don't need all of that in there. If you're planning on putting water in it, then of course, slightly bigger. Another point I want to talk about is if you are wondering whether you're going to bother doing crate training or not, I just think for Dachshunds in specific, considering that they have a 1 in 4 chance of getting IVDD, it's important that they are used to a crate if nothing else. Because what can happen is when they get to the point where they have IVDD, they will be given a certain amount of time that they have to crate rest or rest in a confined area. So if they're used to that crate being around, even if you've just got one open in the living room all the time, if they're used to that being around, then when you finally have to put them in it and close the door to confine them, it won't completely stress them out. So just keep that in mind. The final point I want to make is that I have based all of this on crates in specific, but you might decide for you that you want to try a pen, or you might just want to gate a room or an area in your house. Obviously the tips would be very different for that, so if you want me to do a video on finding a room for them or what to put in a room for them, then obviously let me know in the comments below. But this is more specific to actually crate training, not pen training or room training, let's call it. So at this point I've talked about the step-by-step of how I would train a Dachshund or crate train a Dachshund, including leaving them in the day and leaving them in the night. It's the same either way. And I've also just added on a few extra notes at the end. I'm hoping this is helpful to someone who's picking up a new dog or a puppy, or if you're just deciding to start crate training, it's all really the same. So hopefully it's helpful to you. My next video I'm going to do on being able to take a reactive Dachshund to the pub or the cafe. So if you want to see that video, then please do subscribe, comment below and like this video. And as I always finish my videos, it is Dachshund, not Dachshund, not Dachshund, Dachshund. Cheers guys.